Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Will with Schedulefly. I hope you are doing well, and I am excited today to have Ashley Reda on the phone. Ashley is a manager at Tarpon River Brewing in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and it's a relatively new brewery, but a badass operation. And of course it is because it's brought to us by our friends Lisa and Julian Siegel at Riverside Market and Cafe. So if you've been listening to our podcast or read our books or been to our website, you're most likely familiar with them. We've done a lot of stuff with them, video and so forth. So and they have some partners, and they opened Tarpon River, and Ashley is the manager there and was kind enough to take some time today to wrap with us. So Ashley, thank you very much.
Oh, my pleasure, man.
So okay, man. So let's get into your story real quick. What's your background in the hospitality business? Where'd you get started and when?
I started in kitchens when I was real young. I worked at an organic pizza place. I worked at a couple of restaurants up in Gainesville, and then I moved back down to Fort Lauderdale after school and started working at Riverside Market for Lisa and Julian. When they opened up the brewery, they decided to bring me along to help run the place, and all the rest is history.
Awesome, man. How long ago did you start with Riverside?
It's been about 4 years now.
Okay, so you were there when they just had the first location, and because a lot of their growth has been just in the last few years, right?
Exactly, yeah. I was there for the OG. I was there when they opened up South and Plantation, and it's been real cool.
Were you there? Were you there when we were down there filming a few years back?
I was
Okay.
actually, yeah. It was funny. It was cool, man.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I've always told people ever since then, and this is honest to God truth, it's one of the most special places I've been. I miss it. I wish I had something like that near me. Luke's the film guy that works with us, and I mean, we walked in, and within 15 minutes, we were like, dude, this is one of the coolest places I've ever been to. This is so welcoming and inviting, and it felt like you were amongst friends and at home. And so they've done a really, or at least, I know from my experience there, they had done a great job with that. And I imagine that's a big part of how they've been able to grow. And now you guys are at Tarpon River, which is a beast, and that's like a 11,000 square foot, pretty big operation, right?
It really is. It's such a larger scale than Riverside, but it's got the coolest part about it to me is that kind of organically it just got this really, really cool vibe to it where it is very welcoming. We have excellent staff. The food's great, and everyone's just really, really down to help people, welcome them in, and really have a good time with them. That's one of the things that I feel like is really important and kind of underlooked in restaurant industry these days.
Tell me more about that. Why do you think it's underlooked, and what do you guys do really well that you don't see other places?
Well, I think that it's really, really one of the hardest things to kind of make because you can work all day on restaurant operations. You can get people to know exactly, cook times, ticket times, what everything's supposed to be. But it's that vibe that kind of makes you feel like you're at home, that family vibe. Creating that without having it be completely unorganized has been, I think, one of the bigger struggles. And I think a lot of places don't strive for that because it's something that really has to happen on its own,
Yeah, and that's I don't. It's like it seems like that's more art than science. Like maybe that's something that's intuitive, and you have a good team of people that naturally do that. I mean, it's kind of like going to, like on the idea of going to somebody's house. Like you go to somebody's house, and you can tell. Like if you feel relaxed, there's a lot going on, but if the host are making stuff happen in an organized way, but then they are personable and authentic, and you don't feel like they're just rushing, and you don't feel like it's a stressful environment. Hard to do, but when somebody's good at it, you kind of you can sense it easily.
Yeah, I think that is definitely our strong suit. Has been, I mean, honestly, the welcoming vibe and the just kind of chill atmosphere was what we were best at, and the organization was something that kind of came along afterwards. That's what we've really been focusing on the past couple of years is getting more organized and having things run more as a business and a proper restaurant while still keeping that cool vibe to it, because it's really, a lot of people, I think that a lot of people strive for that, but you can kind of go in and people are almost like TGI Fridays of trying to be cool. Everything's like forced cool, and it's just, you can kind of tell when they're faking it.
Yeah, faking it. There it is. It's the authenticity. That's the ingredient that's so critical to that stuff. And you can't fake that. You can't script it. It has to be natural. You have to have people that have that as part of their makeup, I think, to be on your team.
Well, I see a lot of places that kind of that they're playing cool music. They got all sorts of hip art on the wall and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you can tell that the staff isn't really feeling that family vibe, that cool. And everyone, I can definitely say that as a manager, I do care about all the staff professionally and personally. And I think that's really important. It's hard to find that balance of trying to grow someone to be the best that they can be, while also kind of remaining like having them know that you'll always have their back in and outside of work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys, yeah. I mean, that was very apparent there, and I know that you guys are really good at finding those kinds of people, and a lot of that's been organic, though, right? Friends, family, friends of friends, stuff like
It
that.
is. It's funny, like over at Riverside and now at the brewery, I play in a band down here, and it will have like half of the South Florida music scene working at the restaurant. So when we try to play shows together, it's just a big pain because we're all trying to take off work at the same time
You're
and
all
stuff
trying to
like
go.
that.
What do you,
But
what do you play?
I play guitar, piano, and sing, and then I do a lot of producing and songwriting as well.
Oh, that's cool. What kind of music do you guys play?
It's like bluesy rock and roll. Some of it's a little heavier than other, but I mean, it's still kind of got that cool kind of, I don't know. I like to think of it as music that sounds like it was written in New York or California, but it's got that Southern love and hospitality to it.
Nice, nice, man. I like it. I like it. That sounds like my style. If you can tell, I'm from the South.
Yeah, it's a great place to do it from, man.
Okay, well, cool. Well, I always like finding out what people do outside of work. It's fun to have, I know that like the restaurant business used to be. In fact, I was talking to an owner yesterday, and he's been an owner for 30 or 40 years. But he was saying how when he started in the business, it was like all work all the time, and now it seems like y'all have been able to find. I mean, I know you still work a lot and you work hard, but there's a little bit more focus on giving people. It's kind of you touched on this. You care about them professionally and personally. People need to have balance and have things they enjoy outside of work and that they have time to do, so they're not sacrificing everything. And I think if you
Exactly, and I think that is kind of the beauty of the restaurant industry is that it's one of the jobs where things are more flexible. You can take time off. I mean, it's harder when you're starting a new business and stuff. Obviously, you're going to be there a whole lot, but the kind of idea is that you can really go anywhere in the country, work these jobs, and kind of use it as a stepping stone to do things that you really want to with your life.
For sure, man, absolutely. Are there okay? So tell me about Tarpon River Brewing. Like, or is it? I mean, there's breweries popping up all over the place. Tell me about South Florida and the Fort Lauderdale area, and you
Well,
guys have a lot
craft
of
beer started
competition down
really
there.
hitting. Well, craft beer started really hitting here heavy. Probably, I would say 5 or 6 years ago. We were, I guess, behind the trend of a lot of places, but since then, Funky Buddha opened. I mean, they're kind of the mark of what everyone was. They're the first brewery down here to kind of pop up and become popular across the country. And now there's kind of this vibe of cooler, more low key, smaller breweries that are just starting distribution, but it's local and it's real cool. Everyone down here, like Invasive Species, Lauderdale, like we do collaborations with them, and all of us outside of work are friends. So it's real nice to be able to work across businesses with a bunch of people that we really, really love and support.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you see a lot of that. I love this industry. There's that seems to be the case all over the place. People working together, kind of a rising tide lifts all boats
Yeah,
philosophy.
exactly. And a lot of people think that with the way that everything's opening up, that there's a lot of competition, but it's kind of the opposite. Like when people come into Tarpon, have a couple beers, and they're like, "What's some other cool places down here?" Especially when they're out of town. I always point them in the way to Invasive or Lauderdale. Like, let them know, hey, my friends work here. Let them know I sent you. They're great folks, and I know that they're gonna enjoy those places because I myself enjoy them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Actually, I had this conversation recently. Some buddies and I were talking about this because I don't really know enough about breweries and how this all works. But do you guys serve a food menu too, or is it just beer?
We have a full kitchen in the
You do have a
place, which
full
is
kitchen.
rare for breweries. A lot of them,
Yeah.
usually have food trucks and stuff pop out, but we have a full operating kitchen inside of the brewery.
Oh, food truck. I was wondering because I was just trying to figure out like how, without food, how do you keep people coming back? Okay, I didn't. Yeah, food trucks. Huh. But y'all have a full kitchen, so you can
We do,
hang
yeah, and
out
it's
and
awesome. It's cool with us too because we can use our beers to kind of infuse them in our cooking there. So we have a really cool menu. Lots of stuff is made with our beer, which is I feel like rare. A lot of places use beer as an ingredient, but it's not made directly in the premise that we're actually getting it from.
Yeah, yeah. Now, is your distribution down? Is it local or like what are the
It's local.
plans?
We honestly we're distributing right now to the Riverside markets,
Okay,
all of their locations, and then one of the other restaurants called Township, which is also right down the road from us.
okay, gotcha. Okay, good deal. Do you guys plan? Do you think you'll expand and grow that over time, or is it better to
I
do it
think
local? Or
I I feel like, as far as I'm concerned, and what we've talked about, we're trying to grow as organically as possible. We're not trying to jump
yeah,
from opening. We opened 5 months ago. We're not
oh,
trying to rush
five
anything
months.
like
Yeah,
that. Obviously, the goal of anything is to be as big as and popular as possible, but I don't think that that's really one of our main focuses right now. We're focused really on making the best product and providing the best service.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Tell me about managing people, man. What's sort of your overriding philosophy with managing people, or any things that are sort of your foundational beliefs? How you get people
So
together?
my mom grew up managing a bunch of retail stores and stuff like that, and one of the things she always told me was never to ask anyone to do something that you wouldn't do
Mm,
yourself. So that's kind of
amen.
what I go off of. Like, I always want to help everyone. I think that's my job overall, is to, one, help people as much as I can throughout the day, on a day-to-day basis, but also provide the environment where people want to come to work. Like, all I ever wanted was for people to come to work looking forward to it, and to leave work happy, and hopefully with a lot more money.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, lead by example. Absolutely. Yeah,
Exactly.
people trust you if they see you're willing to do it too, instead of ordering them around. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
how many staff do y'all have there, by the way?
With front of the house, back of the house combined, we have about 40 people.
Okay, gotcha. Good deal. So what do you love most about what you do? Like, what gets you
Uh,
excited every day to go in?
Honestly, our staff, man, we have one of the best staffs of any place that I've ever worked at. Everyone is really, really like family. Everyone has each other's back, and I think that that's super rare. Like, I've never worked in a place my entire life where there's not one person that I have anything negative to say about.
Really?
Yeah, it's awesome, man. That's one of my favorite things, because I was around this time for day one and the hiring process of every single employee that we have, and it's one of the things that I take pride in, is I think that we do really have an awesome staff, and a lot of them are my friends prior to this, but there's a lot of new faces that I knew through this little brewery project, and it's been really cool, man.
Do you hire for? Do you look for experience, or do you look for a type of person because you can train them to serve and so forth? Like, what are you looking for?
I think that experience is obviously a plus, but that in the service industry, it really is just about being kind of a hospitable person. So if I see someone who's got a great personality, I think the best thing about our staff is the kind of philosophy of being able to change people's moods. Like, having someone come in super upset and knowing it from the bat, and just being like, hey, man, I'm going to kind of kill them with kindness and
Yeah,
just make them leave. I mean, because at the end of the day, you don't really know what's going on in anyone's life. People could be having a terrible day, and it's not that they're just going out of their way to be mean. They're just outside unhappy, and our job really is to just make them leave satisfied and kind of be like, dang, that was a really good part of my day.
yeah, yeah. Check your ego and try to do something that will turn them around, and you end up feeling really good about it if you're able to do that.
Exactly. I mean, that is a cool thing, to be able to provide a little bit of positivity into someone's life, even if it's as small as, grabbing them a coffee and just send them on their way.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So 5 months in, man. So is it settling down some? I imagine it's got to be crazy opening a big place like that early on.
It was certainly a big undertaking, but it's been really cool, man. I mean, obviously there's going to be times that are stressful than others, but I think that 5 months in, we've gotten things running pretty smoothly, and it's cool to just kind of sit back and see something that we created run.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, absolutely. So, what else is on your mind? Anything else you think we should talk about? Any other things that you think are important that people that are listening to learn about the restaurant business and being a manager and working at a place like that?
I would definitely say that it is something I think that everyone should do. I feel like it's really humbling, being of service to people,
Yeah,
and kind of realizing that, when you go to a restaurant, that the person there is trying their best to just kind of give you a good experience, and always be respectful and courteous to people that are serving you when you go out. I mean, I think that a lot of people forget that
Mm-hmm.
servers are working for tips, and that's kind of how people are making ends meet. And I think that there's a lot of people that could benefit from kind of stepping away from the whole Yelp mentality and kind of putting their phones down and actually enjoying the presence of other people in their lives.
Ah, yes. Actually, now that you mentioned that, I want to ask about that. Like, how do you guys manage these social media? I mean, some people. It seems like most people I talk to lately pay pretty close attention to it. I'm actually hearing that TripAdvisor seems to be a bigger one even than Yelp these days. But what do y'all do? Do you pay attention to them? Do you respond to them? Do you use them for
I
teaching?
I think that exactly. I think that there is a lot to be learned from certain reviews,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, I think that we do it more for our locals, our customers, and our real clientele base. So at the end of the day, a bad Yelp review here and there isn't going to really upset us. It's something that you can take with a grain of salt, but also learn from.
Yeah.
I also think that as personally, like I've never been a Yelp reviewer type of thing. I grew up when you didn't have that. If you didn't like a place, you just didn't go back,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
now it gives people a little platform, and some people use it to be helpful, and other people use it to kind of give themselves a little I feel like a little boost in their daily lives, and that's cool. At the end of the day, I think that one of the cool things about our company is that as much as we do care about what people have to say, we always do try to have our staff's back.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, that kind of trust that you build, I mean, it goes both ways, right? Like when they feel that you have their back,
100%.
and when people are trusted, they'll go the extra mile for you. It's actually something that really struck me, honestly, man. I will like that whole thing at Riverside where the honor system, and you could go to those coolers and grab a beer and just tell your server, take it up and pay when you left. Like, and Lisa telling me, 99% of people want to be trusted and appreciate it. So why worry about the 1% that are going to take advantage when you can make 99% of the people just
That was honestly one of the
overwhelmed?
coolest things when I first started working there, was that I was like, there's got to be so much loss and theft at this place, and everyone's so cool. And like she said, 99% of people are cool, and like, why it's a nice freeing thing to be able to base your life and your perception of things off of that 99% of good versus that 1% of evil.
Totally, dude. No, I completely agree. Well, man, dude, Ashley, this is awesome. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed talking to you a ton, man. And
For sure, man. It's been great.
I hope I can get back down there sometime. I've told Lisa this 1,000 times. I've missed it since I left and wanted to come back. So I hope one day I can make it happen. But y'all are awesome, man. We're just stoked to know y'all and serve y'all, and just appreciate you being as busy as you are, taking the time to do this. I know anybody listening will learn and be inspired, and man, I really appreciate it a lot.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you too, man. You have a great day. All right.
All right, man. Have a good one, Ashley. Take care.
See you later.
All right, bye.